Welcome to the lecture of VLSI Design. Myself, Dr. Sandeep Garg, Associate Professor, Department of Electronic and Communication, Oriental College of Technology, Bhopal. Today, I am going to explain latch-up, its causes and how to prevent latch-up. Latch-up means activation of parasitic bipolar devices in a CMOS integrated circuit. These bipolar devices are formed due to various layers that are fabricated during the fabrication process of the CMOS device. These bipolar devices gets falsely triggered, and due to this a low impedance path is created between the supply and the ground, due to which very heavy current flows from supply to ground. This causes very high power dissipation, due to which the transistor or the device may burn. Now, in order to understand latch up in CMOS devices, first we have to understand the functioning of a thyristor. A thyristor is a three-terminal device having four semiconductor regions. The three terminals are anode, cathode and gate. Now a forward bias is applied between this anode and cathode, and in order to turn on the device, a gate pulse is applied across this device. When this pulse is applied, the transistor Q2 gets turned on. That will cause the current to flow through this transistor Q2. Due to this, the transistor Q1 gets turned on and the current flows through this transistor Q1. And again, this will cause triggering of transistor Q2, and in this way this latch is created between these two transistors Q1 and Q2, so the current flows continuously even after removal of this gate pulse. This is the overview of the CMOS device. Here you can see there are two transistors. One is the PMOS transistor and another one is the NMOS transistor. Here the gate of the two transistors are connected to the input of the circuit, and the drain of the two transistors are connected to the output of the circuit. The input is also connected to this N positive terminal. This is the cathode of the clamping diode, and input is also connected to this P positive terminal, which is the anode of the clamping diode. You can see here there are two parasitic bipolar transistors. One is the NPN transistor and another one is the PNP transistor. These two transistors are formed due to various N and P positive regions within this CMOS device. Here this is the NPN transistor. Here this emitter region, N region, is formed by the source and drain of this NMOS device as well as from the cathode of this clamping diode. The base of this transistor is formed by the substrate, and the collector of this is formed by the N-well region. While for this PNP transistor, the emitter is formed by the source and drain of this PMOS device as well as from the anode of this clamping diode, while base region is formed by this N-well region and the collector region is formed by this substrate. Here Rs is the resistance of the substrate and Rw is the resistance of the well. Now here, when these two transistors get turned on simultaneously, then in that case a direct current will flow from the supply to the ground terminal. So a very low resistance path occurs between these two terminals that causes very heavy current to flow, and excessive heat will be generated in this case that will result in the burning of the device. Now here we will see how these two transistors will get turned on. When the input or output voltage is greater than this VCC, then in that case the emitter region of this transistor will be at higher potential than the base region. So this emitter base junction of this PNP transistor will get forward bias and this transistor get turns on. That will cause a current to flow through this collector terminal. That will cause the triggering of this NPN transistor, and again the current will flow through the collector of this transistor that will trigger this PNP transistor again. So this process is cumulative and self-sustained process. So a latch is created between these two transistors. A latch is produced between these transistors and the current is self-sustained. Means even after the removal of this input supply, this current will continue to flow from these two transistors, so that the overall process will be self-sustaining. So in that case, due to heavy current flow between the supply and the ground, due to shorting of these two devices, the heavy current will flow and that will cause damage to the transistor, and transistor even can burn also. Now another case is that when both the both the input or output voltage is less than the ground voltage, then in that case, as you can see here, in that case, if the emitter voltage is lesser than this base voltage, then the emitter base junction of this NPN transistor will be forward biased and it will trigger this NPN transistor. Now triggering of this NPN transistor will cause the collector current to flow, that will again trigger this PNP transistor, and due to this triggering of the NPN transistor, the collector current will flow through the collector of this PNP transistor, and again a latch is formed in that case. So again both transistors will turn on simultaneously and the current will flow between this supply and the ground, that will cause the transistor to damage. So in these two cases, both transistors get turned on simultaneously, and since a latch is formed between these two transistors, that's why that process is called latch up process. Now here, when the latch up occurs, a large current flows in the case of CMOS circuit that will lead to overheating and eventual failure of the device. The individual bipolar devices have very lower current gain as beta is less than 1 for these two transistors. Therefore, large current spikes are needed to activate them. But if these two transistors get activated, then in that case heavy current will flow. The cutoff frequency of the two transistors is low because of their larger device dimensions. The cutoff frequency of these two devices is approximately 1 megahertz. So therefore, if we apply very short duration pulses to the two parasitic bipolar transistors, then it will not trigger these devices because they are not very fast enough to respond to these pulses. However, with the scaling of the parasitic thyristors, frequency response also get improved, meaning that these devices become more sensitive to short duration pulses. Now here, to trigger the latch up, an input or output voltage is required that is higher than the supply voltage, and also the two transistors get triggered when an electrostatic discharge occurs due to the high voltage and currents that are involved in the operation of the CMOS devices. Now here, when an electrostatic discharge occurs of very short duration, the chip gets flooded with very large number of charge carriers that will flow very slowly and eventually result in triggering of the thyristor. Also, the latch up can trigger due to the upper atmosphere or outer space ionizing radiation. Also, it will cause higher energy sources in a lab environment, and also due to nuclear power plants, the radiations emitting from these nuclear power plants can also trigger these two devices. Now, how to prevent this latch up? Here, this is the way how we can prevent this latch up by creating these regions, trench regions between the two devices. Here we will isolate the PMOS and the NMOS devices using an oxide trench layer. This is the oxide trench layer by which this PMOS and the NMOS devices are separated together with a buried oxide layer. Here we are using a buried oxide layer. This is used to separate the PMOS and the NMOS device. Now here, if we not include an oxide trench, then we can also use guard rings around your devices. Here you can see these are the guard rings used in case of the PMOS and the NMOS device to separate these two devices. The idea behind using a guard ring is to add more number of collector terminals to the parasitic transistor in order to steer the current flow away from the desired devices. Adding more number of collector terminals will reduce the current between the supply and the ground, reduces the chances of burning the transistor. We can also protect the latch up by using reverse bias diode between the input output and the voltage supply as shown here in this case. You can see a diode is connected between the supply and the input output pins. By using this configuration, we can protect the device from latch up. The diodes referred in this case are the Schottky diodes because they have low forward resistance. How to prevent latch up? The latch up is caused due to improper grounding, as you can see here. In that case, the pulse width modulator source will produce a low output signal, and that is inputted to this inverter that will turn on this MOSFET. Now, if the parasitic trace resistance R1 is large enough that the ground of this inverter can be at a higher potential than the input signal, that will cause the latch up with this CMOS device. The latch-up can be prevented by using proper grounding. Here we are using a common ground point for this inverter as well as this MOS devices. This common ground point will reduce the chances of latch-up purpose. How this is the review. Latch-up can be triggered by voltage spikes applied to the input of a chip. The spikes have to be large enough than the supply voltage of the chip. Means if we apply lower voltage than the supply voltage, then in that case no triggering occur and the CMOS device will work properly. But if the input or output is greater than the supply voltage or lesser than the ground voltage, then in that case the two parasitic transistors will get triggered and a direct connection will be there between the supply and the ground that will cause heavy current to flow. Another is cause of the latch-up is the electrostatic discharge that can occur because of the large current flows involved.